Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday evening here on our YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to peruse through the semester 1, 2, 3 videos regarding the wisdom of Kabbalah. If you like what you see, you're always welcome to visit Kabbalah.info and join like-minded people at the KABU Academy or Kabbalah.academy. In the interim, we're going to carry on with our Shamati articles as usual, but from last week we had about 4 questions, I think, that were not answered. So let's finish those off, and then we're going to continue with Shamati number 28. Okay, so from last week, a few questions. Emma is asking, by fear, I meant the fear of making mistakes, the suffering caused by action and inaction. As for me, I would not want to stay in this world even for 1 minute, living to be 100. All right, so what we have to do is, through this study, understand that life has a purpose, and we should learn to direct our actions, intentions, thought, actions, whatever, everything that's belongs to a person towards the purpose of life. There's no running away from the purpose of life. So we better do everything we can in order to make sure that we attain it. Farooq's asking, I perceived the coming years as if there were two options, either suicide or lishma. Could lolishma be a third good option? I don't think suicide is an option. I think the best option is to continue, like I said to Emre, to continue and to attain the meaning of life. Okay. Look, suicide is not an option because nothing in creation dies off like we think. Okay. There is no end. It's like a water drop, right? So a water can evaporate and seemingly disappear, but we understand it's vapor now, it's gas now instead of fluid. So it's not disappearing anywhere. Nobody is disappearing anywhere. We need to be smart, okay? If there is a meaning to life, we need to go for it. And if we don't go for it, life will terrorize us. End of story. You committing suicide doesn't solve a problem. Okay, Pradeep CB1 is asking. I've heard from the Rav that morning lessons are essential to our progress. I see many friends in the 10 not interested to attend the lessons. Missing 10 meetings are normal. How can I try to connect when my senses show me that the commitment is missing? You have to be committed yourself and be a good example to your friends because we can't control or force or coerce other people. We can't. All right. So in the group, what we can do is increase the importance of the goal, increase the importance of the meaning of life, the purpose of life. And that's all we can do. Be a good example, but we can't pressure people. We can't force people. It's not a good way to connect with people. Okay. So be a good friend, be a good example, but don't force or coerce or badmouth people because they're not coming. Um, Okay, I can see that I don't love the friends as I should. Am I seeing these issues because I don't love enough? Absolutely. You're seeing the truth that you do not have love of others. Devran's asking, when feelings and mood are good, friends, family, and the city I am in feel like a holiday, but when they are low, everything feels like hell in the same way. Is it our mood that affects this, or are we influenced by the environment? Is there such a phenomena? And if so, could you explain it? A man is a outcome of the environment. Okay, so we're all trying to build also when we're studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, we're all trying to build a good environment. Okay, so the environment is an important thing. If we have a good environment, we can have a good, healthy, happy, safe life. If we don't build it, you can see how life can turn out in the news. So choosing a good environment is important, but is that what you want from your life? Just to be happy all the time, be in a good mood or whatever? Or is there a purpose that you want to attain? You have to start thinking in terms of, if you're going to study the wisdom of Kabbalah, that is right. You have to start thinking in terms of, well, what's the purpose? What's the meaning of my life? Okay. We have to start thinking towards the purpose of creation rather than I want to feel good or I don't want to feel bad and that kind of stuff. Otherwise, that's an animate level. Animals live like that, right? Feeling good, feeling bad. Okay. We have to raise ourselves above that. All right, let's go into Shamati 28. It's a short article. Let's see what we can pack up from here for our inner work. I shall not die but live. Shamati 28, Articles of Baal HaSulam. Okay. In the verse, I shall not die but live. In order for one to achieve the truth, there must be a sensation that if one does not obtain the truth, he feels himself as dead since he wants to live. This means that the verse, I shall not die but live, is said about one who wants to obtain the truth. This is the meaning of Yonah ben Amittai. Yonah comes from the Hebrew word honah, which means a fraud, and ben means son, comes from the word mevin, understands. One understands because one always examines the situation he is in and sees that he has deceived himself and he's not walking on the path of truth. Truth means to bestow, meaning lishma, for her sake. And the opposite is, this is fraud and deceit, meaning only to receive, which is lolishma. By this, one is later imparted the amitai, meaning emet, the truth. This is the meaning of your eyes are as those, einaim, eyes, of holiness are called einaim of the Shekhinah, the eyes of divinity, and are yonim. Yonim means those. They deceive us and we think that she has no eyes, as it's written in the Zohar, a fair maiden who has no eyes. The truth is that one who is rewarded the truth sees that she does not have eyes. This is the meaning of a bride whose eyes are pretty, her whole body needs no scrutiny. All right. So let's go paragraph by paragraph and see what we can get for our inner work. Shamati 28, I shall not die but live. In the verse, I shall not die but live, in order for one to achieve the truth, there must be a sensation that if one does not obtain the truth, he feels himself as dead, since he wants to live. This means that the verse, I shall not die but live, is said about one who wants to obtain the truth. Okay, so hopefully and thankfully we've got a dot in the heart who's seeking the truth. So in the wisdom of Kabbalah, as you know, the wisdom of Kabbalah is also known as the wisdom of truth. Sometimes it's also known as the hidden wisdom, because in our corporeal life, we are born, we live, we die. We don't feel like this is the truth. It's like a transient life. It's like a dream. It just goes by and you die. All right. So the Kabbalists are saying the truth is something we need to attain. And this should be our goal if we're studying the wisdom of Kabbalah. All right. This is why when we come to the wisdom of Kabbalah, as it writes here, there must be a sensation that if one does not obtain the truth, he feels himself as dead. This is why when we're coming to the wisdom of Kabbalah, we're always seeking, searching, wanting to discover the meaning of life. Why? Because we feel like life is dark. It just doesn't feel like it's got any value. This is the meaning of Yonah ben Amittai. Yonah comes from the Hebrew word honah, fraud, and ben, son, comes from the word mevin, to understand. One understands because one always examines the situation he is in and sees that he's deceived himself and he's not walking on the path of truth. So in our life, also in the wisdom of Kabbalah, when we first come to the wisdom of Kabbalah, what do we really discover, right? We discover the truth that we are in, which is our egoism. It's just self-destruction. And also we're seeing a lot of it uh, on the planet all the time, in society as well. And also 2026 will be one that will be very hard for people, hard for society, both internally and externally. So this is also going to be a year that really tries us. We're going to feel like, our life is just being wasted. There's nothing really concrete. It all feels like it's just, we can't get anything out of a life. So this kind of a sensation humanity will probably go through this year. There's some heavy, um, like there won't be a desire to do things. It'll be very mood swingy. So this is actually a good period for people to clarify for themselves about the meaning of life. So as humanity will be entering this like new phase about seeking the truth, and many things will have to, we will feel that things in life need a reformat. We're going to have to reformat ourselves, individually, society-wise, everything, economy, whatever we have, we'll begin to see that everything we built is just a lie. It's just not tangible, nothing there, and it will all fall. So we'll have to restructure, and we'll have to just rebuild everything, because we'll see that everything we've done so far is just a big fat lie. All right. This is a good phase actually for humanity, because although it's a big decline, the old system, everything has to change. We have to kind of like get out of our skin. And every time there's a new birth in human society, obviously birth pains need to happen, right? So this phase for us in spirituality is also the same. We're going through states which are just revelation of evil, and from that revelation of evil, which is also the truth, okay, we want to come to a higher truth, the real truth, okay? Truth means to bestow, meaning lishma, for her sake, right, for the sake of the creator. And the opposite is the fraud and deceit, meaning only to receive, which is lolishma, not for the creator's sake. By this, one is later imparted the amitai, meaning the truth, right? Amitai comes from the word emet, meaning truth. So, as we advance in the wisdom of Kabbalah, as we study more and more, we begin to understand that receiving for ourselves is a lie, which is actually what we're really going to discover with the whole of reality soon, that everything we've built, like I said, just has no foundation and it cannot continue. So we'll see a lot of, you know, changes in governments, changes in society, changes in economy, changes in the way we look at life is just going to just like shift. Okay. And we will come to the understanding we can't live the way we're living. It's just unsustainable. So we'll have to renew everything. All right. And then what does it say? And then we'll have to come to this thing called bestowal. We're going to understand at the corporeal level of existence, we will come to start thinking about and talking about that our sustainable life depends on each other. So society will need to evolve, and it will start to understand exactly that we actually need each other. And if we don't help each other out, if we don't connect properly, we're going to discover that everything is just really going to be out of order. It's just not going to work out for us. Okay. So this is why truth is going to be bestowal. So we'll need to understand that we need to redistribute everything um, among people. We need to rethink about it, redevelop it. Obviously, it's a process, but we're entering that process this year. So, as humanity, it's actually an exciting period for us, really. This kind of period, um, many people don't see in a lifetime. So, it's going to be a nice little shift. This is the meaning of your eyes are as doves. Einaim, eyes of holiness, are called Einaim of the divinity, are Yonim, doves. They deceive us, and we think that she has no eyes, as it's written in the Zohar, a fair maiden who has no eyes. So eyes relate to, in the wisdom of Kabbalah, wisdom, chokhmah. Right? So I want to see things. So if a person doesn't have eyes, it's usually in his reception. This is why Kabbalists are also always reminding us that Person has eyes, they do not see, has ears, but he does not hear. So he's completely drenched, uh, engulfed in the desire to receive pleasure for one's self, completely limiting all his perceptions. It's like a person's living in a little black box all the time. The truth is that one who's rewarded the truth sees that she does have eyes. This is the meaning of a bride whose eyes are pretty, her whole body needs no scrutiny. Okay, so obviously it's the person with wisdom. Okay, eyes, having the ability to see is chokhmah, and we need to raise ourselves to see reality from the perception and the perspective of love and bestowal. The more we stay in reception and love of the self, our life will continue to degrade. And this is why humanity will just come to a breaking point where we have to understand that, living together in peace above all our differences is the only solution to move forward. And this is we will have to come to such a decision, whether in a positive way, through studying and understanding human nature, or through the negatives, as humanity has been being pushed historically by suffering like wars, famine, natural disasters, all kinds of personal, family, societal, and global problems that we go through. They're just pushing us to come to an understanding that the only way to live properly is if we all complete each other, complement each other, rather than competing and killing each other. So hopefully we'll raise ourselves to a higher level of consciousness, as it writes here, where we can see the truth, which is the Creator's reality, a reality of love and bestowal. This is why it says, eyes of holiness. One should feel, see, and live reality from the degree of the Creator. All right? That's why it's divinity, Shekhinah, or Kedusha, holiness, living in that higher state and experiencing reality from that higher state. All right, do we have questions? Yes. Okay. Mike's asking, how do I build the right environment if my friends have little to no interest in it? Well, hopefully you're studying in a group, right? If you're studying in a group that studies the wisdom of Kabbalah, right? They are your friends. Okay, who are friends? Friends I study with, friends I study the wisdom of Kabbalah with, because obviously my friends in the outside world will not be interested. But if he's studying with us, I'm hoping and thinking he's got some interest in the wisdom of Kabbalah. Otherwise, why would anyone be with us? They'd be out there having fun in life, or trying to have fun in life. So for us, the environment is the group, the teacher, and the sources. Around that, we need to build our environment. Okay. Nazan's asking, when does a person realize that they have been rewarded with the truth? When you see. Okay. How's that going to be when? When you grow up. Okay. Kids grow up, don't they? When they grow up, they see the world differently. As they grow up, as their mind grows up, as their perception opens up towards a larger world, right? They expand their horizon, so they begin to see the world in a more truthful way. So we also need to be preparing ourselves to be born in a new perception, but it's nothing airy-fairy. One should see how reality works as in truth. Okay. When depends on your effort. Eda is asking, a person who's pointing the heart awakened comes to the work with great deficiency in desire, but over time it seems as if this deficiency gets filled with answers, with the friends, with the lessons. In such a case, how can one keep the deficiency alive, or what should one do? How will a new deficiency emerge? You have to come up with ways to do that. We all have to come up with ways to do that. Look, every year in the group, we're doing something new, right? We got new programs, we got new projects, we've got, I don't know, all kinds of new things that we do. Why? Why don't I just shut up and sit down and have a relaxed evening and, just come to the morning lesson and go back to bed? I don't know. Why? Because I understand that I have to build my own desire. Why? Because that's my free choice. It's free choice is where you add to make your desire bigger. That's free choice. And the creator isn't going to give that to you. Nobody's going to give that to you, I'll be honest with you. You can get it in a group if everybody's adding something. You can be a part of it. You can stick your head into somewhere. I don't know, an additional thing here, an additional thing there. But this is where everybody's free choice is. I have to stick my head into the environment and I have to make the environment influence me. How? By investing in it. Why do I invest so much? If I had invested this much on my corporeal business, I'd be well off in corporeality. Okay? But I have an understanding. Okay? I have an understanding that this is not the meaning of my life. So I want to make sure that I stay on track and I keep pushing forward, and wherever I can add, I add. There's no other way to advance. Things become valuable for you if you invest in them. If you don't invest in the purpose of your life, you'll get bored. You'll then go sour. You'll be like a flower that's not getting any water, and then you'll drift off. It's standard procedure. Okay. So, good way is to connect with the goal, with the friends, and even if you don't want to do it even if you don't want to. There was a good article we studied yesterday in the with the Turkish group. Rabash was so good in that article. He said, work starts when you don't want to work, because that's where your free choice is. When your desire to receive tells you, why am I doing this for? Who needs this? Well, I need to love these people. Was this a joke? Yeah, it's a bad joke. But exactly, free choice starts when you're against the work, when you don't want to do the work. So a person needs to add. It's like going on a diet, right? You can go on a diet for a few weeks, a month, all right? Prep for the summer, let's say, okay? Or, or you can say to yourself, listen, every time I'm going on a diet, I'm going up and down. The scale is going up and down, and I'm driving me nuts. Okay. Or you can say, I've got a better plan. I'm gonna change my lifestyle. Okay. So I'm gonna be selective about what I eat, but I'm not gonna be on a diet. I'm just gonna be a bit more mindful about what I eat and why I eat it and why I need to eat it this way on an ongoing basis. Okay. That's consistency over the long term. All right. Same principle here. Really, there's no difference. So a lot of people, like you said, come with a lot of excitement, and then and then the excitement fades because you have to now start to work. So it's a good time to increase the importance. Okay. Um, you come into the Congress. Okay, yeah, look, come to the Congress, stick your head in there, get some, it's like getting a dose of energy and push through. The most important thing, though, is to keep pushing. All right. It's like every day I do something, even if it's something little, I don't have to do huge things. I do something little every day. One step a day, I can get somewhere. Okay. Even if it's a small step. Tomorrow I'll have energy, I'll run. Today I don't have any energy. I'm just going to take one step and sit down. That's it. But the important thing is just keep moving, because if you don't keep moving, that's it. Game over. All right. So go and also go out with the girls, have some fun. What are you guys doing every night at home? Go out, have some coffee, or have a pajama party at somebody's house, and then come to the morning list. Do something fun with the friends too. All right. A lot of the times, people don't enjoy the friendship that they're building. And this is not a nice thing. Okay. It's like our whole life is the books. And I've got to love these. Why don't you guys have some fun too? All right. I'm always recommending to the guys in the group, go to a picnic, go out, have some fun, you know, go out, connect. Going out for a picnic and having fun, I don't know, doing something together, it's fun, right? So you got to rejuvenate yourselves with these little getaways, with these little, out of the routine, little exciting things, and have some fun. If you're not having some fun to boost yourself as well, you guys are all gonna get tried out. See, I'm having fun every weekend. I'm out with the guys, always having some to eat, dinner, this and that. It helps us to connect, even if it's virtually. See, every Thursday we've got virtual dinner. Okay, we eat, we talk together. Same, you guys need to kind of like lighten up a little bit. Okay, there's no other way. We have to find, like Rabash writes, Baal HaSulam writes, we have to find tactics. Okay, we have to find tactics on how we can stay on the path. We can't have like a religious schedule, because we will then really die of boredom. So what we have to do is like we have to be creative, go do, oh, let's do something, because everything we do together as well helps us to connect too, right? Even if we go out for a walk and we read a few sentences here and there, have a bit of a coffee, talk, call it a day, that's still good. So good. So be creative in your 10. Ingrid's asking, hello. When family and friends have started to complain that I'm not doing enough in life, does it mean one has to change? And I feel the tension as I'm happy and satisfied with my life and the study of Kabbalah. How should one use this change in best possible way when there isn't any real Kabbalah book in my native language? Well, at least you got really good English. I know that. Okay. So you got us. Anyone who speaks English, you can stick your head in there. Um, when family and friends start complaining, you need to think if you're not doing things you should be doing for the family. All right. So same for me too. All right. Same for me too. So for example, if my wife, she says, "Oh, look, I have to do this and do this and do this," I do it. Okay, I do it because why? Because she obviously feels these things need to be done. All right. So, for example, on Friday, I'm the one who goes to the market. Okay. I rather stay at home, maybe read some books or whatever. Okay, in my room. But I go do the shopping for the family. Okay. That's just how it is. She puts them in the fridge. I do the shopping. Okay. So, why it's important to also complement the family in corporeality, because this also keeps us connected. Okay. So we have to do things for the family. We can't really get away from it. And we should do our best really to keep their hearts in peace. Okay, we should. And one of the good thing is because we're in the 21st century, everything is online now, right? So I'm not really missing out on anything. because every time I have a free moment, I can, tune into something. Sometimes I go for a walk in the morning. I just put the earplugs on, earphones on, right? My earbuds, and I go for a walk and listen to the lesson or listen to a melody, whatever. But like I said, it's important to keep family responsibilities and to make sure that, um, I'm doing things for the family that I need to do. Okay. Um, if you have a spouse or family who's not interested in the wisdom of Kabbalah, a good tactic, I'll give you a good tactic, right, is to behave exceptionally well because you're studying Kabbalah, right? Because then they go, oh, you keep studying. Okay. Why? Because you're like being extra good. Kabbalah says I need to, love everybody, treat them nicely. I need to bestow. So yeah, I'm learning. Okay. And then that way, you know, they might give you a bit of a breathing space because you're turning into something good. All right, you're turning into something good. At first, if we have a spouse who's not, or we have family members, let's say, who are not into the wisdom of Kabbalah, and we dedicate time to the wisdom of Kabbalah, then, they get a little worried. They go, well, you're listening to these lessons all the time, and what about us, and this and that, right? So if you can find ways to compensate, like after the lesson, if they're watching TV, make some popcorn for them and take it over and say, okay, let's have some popcorn in front of the TV together. Okay, you got to be like I said to Eda, right? So you have to be a little creative, okay, so that everybody, you know, gets some good vibe from you. Okay, the way that the study is improving you and helping you as well. Those things need to happen. Same with me. Okay, so because I dedicate a lot of time to the wisdom of Kabbalah, on the weekends especially, I don't ask for anything. I always say, whatever you guys want to do, I'm going to do it for you. I'm all good. Why? Because Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 nights a week, we've got something happening. Okay, we're all full. So they only get 2 nights. Okay, and Saturday, like pretty much that's it. Saturday and a half day Sunday. All right. So it's like 1.5 days. So whatever they like to do, and that kind of compensates. All right. So we really need to take care of the family. We need to make sure they're all happy as best we can. All right. Even after now, for example, I've got a program from 9 to 10. After that, I'll spend some time with my partner as well, with my wife. And then, we'll spend some time together and then we'll call tonight. Okay. So everybody needs to feel like they're getting some, part of you that they want to have. Okay. Because they deserve it because it's how it is. All right, it's family. So we have to find ways to be creative. Okay, I always get something for them when I go out shopping. Whatever they like, I buy. It's a little surprise. So everybody's, has got some room to be happy from me. Okay, so they have to find places where they'll be happy from the way you are in the family. All right, so we have to be a little creative. And Mike's asking, yeah, I'm in a 10. They show no interest or effort in building the environment. Well, okay, so in the meantime, this is how it is. Okay, but are you in the young group? Yeah? Is he in the young group? Is he in the education center? Where are we at? Where are we at with Mike in Turkish? Is he in Turkish group? No, no, okay. So look, if okay, I'm not sure which group you're in, Mike. So I'll do this. If you're in a 10, okay, and you feel like your 10 is not, like as dedicated or full on, right, like you are, then whichever group you're in, have a chat with the head of the language, okay, and say, listen, I want to move forward. I want to come to the lessons, but, there aren't enough of us in the morning lesson. How can we make ourselves a little stronger? Because in every different country, in every different, society, there's a structure, and that structure, slowly, slowly evolves, and it's a process. Okay, it's a process. So on the one hand, it's really good that you've got a lot of desire. Um, and on the other hand, we've got to understand that, this is the young group. So we're just like getting our feet wet. All right. After the education center, we just begin to get our feet wet. So we have to give a bit of time, but patience pays off. So we also have, what can I tell you? We also have, I had also, I also had, when I first came to the group, we weren't all of us, we weren't all full on. I mean, I had a good group when I started in Australia, but, you know, still, um, patience is the best tool here, really. Patience. And you just have to grind it out a little bit, give it some time, but have a chat with your, um, with whoever is taking care of your country or your language, whoever is responsible for the group, so that they know you want to push forward, okay? And they'll do it accordingly. In the meantime, though, um, in the young group, this is normal, okay? Um, and before you make a decision whether to stay in a group or not, like I said, talk to the guys who are responsible for your language or your country, because they'll have a lot of experience that that they can convey. We have this in every group, right? We've got it in our groups as well. Um, we start at 10 with, like, I don't know, 15 people. It ends up with five. Okay, so what happened to the other 10? Well, it's it happens, all right? But what we have to do if we want to become Kabbalists, right? If we want to become Kabbalists, we have to understand that not everybody is full on. So we have to respect friends who come once a week, once a month. It doesn't matter. As long as we can provide them the end of a rope that they can hold on to, then that's fine. Some people are okay with coming once a week, once a month, and it's enough for them, and we have to respect that. And we have to value that as well. Even if it's once a month, once a week, once a year, it doesn't matter. A person can only do how much they desire. Okay. So, but definitely have a chat with your coordinator, right? And see how um, you guys can build a better environment together. All right. So don't despair though, right? Don't despair. It's not a good thing. There's always a solution. Whoever wants to advance just needs a bit of patience for the things to settle down, right? Because if you think about it as well, look, we're studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, right? What's our schedule like? Our schedule is tough. It's not easy. When people come and study the wisdom of Kabbalah, it's a bit of a shake-up. Okay, because we've got morning lessons every day. You know, I mean, like lessons every day. It's like already like 3 hours every day is already a big deal. And who in their regular life was doing anything every day for 3 hours outside of their corporeal life and their careers and so on? So we have to understand that it takes time for people to adjust, adapt, adopt a routine, or even it takes time for them to kind of like plan out and decide how they want to integrate themselves into this. Okay, because not everybody, like I said, can come every day. Not everybody can come every day for 3 hours either. Okay, so a person needs to really suss it out for themselves and do a tailored framework that fits them. Also, like I answered Ingrid as well, you got to do something. You got to do it in a way where your family also feels comfortable with you, right? So you're in the family, they feel comfortable with you, and we're not rocking the boat in our personal life, in our family life, because the wisdom of Kabbalah is something we should just be adding to our life, and we shouldn't really need to flop our lives, turn it upside down in trying to run forward. It should be with a lot of thought, consideration, and planning, let's say. All right. So definitely though, get some help from the coordinators, whoever is responsible for you. I'm sure they'll find a way. There's always a way. There's always a way. We've done a lot of different things in many different groups. So the guys will definitely help you out there. Okay. Don't despair. There's always a way out. All right, so that brings us to 8:45. So we're going to call it a night because we don't have any other questions here. Okay, so this all looks good. Next week, we won't have a lesson next week, okay, because I'm away for 2 weeks. All right. I'll be back on the 1st of February. So we'll have a lesson on the 3rd of February. I think it's a Tuesday. Okay. So because I'll be out of town, okay, and because I will be out of the city, we won't be able to do it. Okay. So we'll see how things pan out. But just so that you guys all know, that's how it's going to be. All right. In the interim, have a good evening, and we'll see you guys when we're back.